Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of the Flaming Puck with me, your host, Ian Kelly, joined as always by Chris Ruback and Dylan Simpson. And Flames hockey is about to get underway officially. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, NHL is back. And we have got a great show for you today. We're going to break it into three parts for you today. So we're a little bit more structured than usual because we do have a lot to talk about, both negative, positive, and everything in between. So guys, first and foremost, welcome to the show. And what we said we would do today was that we'd break it down into three parts. We're going to talk about the negatives first. So we'll spend the first half of the show talking about the negatives, off-season trades, whatever, how the lineups are looking, preseason, anything that may be on our minds. Second part, we're going to get into the positives to bring people back up a little bit. And then, of course, we're going to talk about opening game. So I suppose there's only one place to start, and that is Mr. Simpson.
Yes, sir.
Negatives.
You don't have any negatives, right?
No, I'm the most positive person about the upcoming season and how training
for a guy in our own little trade group who likes to call him a certain "see you next Tuesday." That's giving nothing away. People who know, he's definitely positive.
I mean, don't get me wrong. As we're going to talk about later, there's lots of positives,
Sure.
or at least a few positives. But I think the biggest negative that I have, and that it's just, especially seeing how fast the first few games, like I've watched 3 or 4 games of the regular season, and none of them have been Flames games because for some reason we got a week off. But
thank you, NHL.
The speed, everything's so fast.
Yeah.
And I mean, we've got Shillington on the back end who's fast, and Hannafin, I guess, can be a little fast, and the rest of them aren't. And I mean, up front, we've got a few fast guys, but
the Moose Zadorov isn't quick.
No, he's not very quick.
Damn it.
But
quick to the same.
But neither was Gio, so
No.
It's not like we haven't really regressed as far as speed. We just
talent.
certainly haven't gotten faster.
Yeah.
One way of putting it, right?
I guess so.
Do you miss TJ as much as I do?
I sorely miss TJ.
Me too.
I knew we were going to miss TJ the second he didn't sign with us. Which I think we all kind of knew was going to happen. But I've been saying it for years. I know you're not the biggest fan of the guy, Chris, but I do think that Oliver Shillington really reminds me of a younger version of TJ Brody, who's doesn't have all the confidence in the world, but given the chance, I think he could progress into a Brody type player.
Yeah, I mean, I hope he does. Right? I mean, I don't think I've ever had a player in the organization that I didn't hope was, would be better, do well, all that fun stuff. I just, as it's come so far, it's not, like, for me, as far as I'm concerned, it hasn't even been good, let alone great. You know what I mean? Like it's he can't keep in the lineup. I know fans will just say, he's not given the chance. Well, he's not taking a chance. He's not, having that chance to be there. Right? He's had 3 coaches in the last 3 years that won't put him on the ice more than 10 games a season. Right? So I don't know. I really hope he proves me wrong. I truly do. He's had a great camp, right? I mean, the signs, as long as he can keep that up, but he, obviously playing now, he's going to start playing against actual NHL players. So I hope he does well.
I mean, that's definitely we'll see in the first, hopefully he gets some games. I saw he was practicing as a forward, which honestly, like
I think that is the best situation for him, personally.
I don't think he'd be a bad forward, honestly.
No.
But
dude, he couldn't be any worse than some of the pieces that we had last year, right?
Yeah,
some of
bit of quickness on as a forward? Yes, please.
Yeah. So yeah, as far as I'm concerned, the biggest negative and the biggest worrying spot is the speed of the team, and especially the bottom six and the bottom, three defensemen, like even Razzie, who's technically the top pairing defenseman, I guess, this year from what we're seeing, isn't the fastest. He's seems to be doing all right offensively right now, but the speed is something, especially playing against McDavid and Draisaitl, and playing against the young, hungry Canucks with the Hoglanders and the Pedersons and the and like even the Ducks, like, man, they're quick.
They're young and quick, right?
Yeah, dude.
Exactly.
I heard a piece on 32 Thoughts actually with Elliot Friedman, kind of breaking down the whole Western Division, and he actually mentioned that about the Ducks. Like, this is kind of a season for the Ducks where you try and blend all the youth, the young guys together. You know what I mean? You try and get the kids basically more experience and stuff like that. And
so like, by getting the kids more experience, you mean by signing Richardson and Lewis?
True.
No, you're talking about the Ducks, an organization that does things properly, right? Like you actually draft, you draft and you bring up players from within them. You create a team environment. You don't just bring in old fucks from around the league that just because your coach coached them a decade ago.
Yeah. And I think one of the things that I kind of took out, I'm kind of at my final straw. We always pick on certain players. I mean, we've all been guilty of it, guys, and Flames fans have been guilty of it. And look, everybody has their own opinions too. That's why we're fans, right?
Absolutely.
We can disagree, but I mean, everything was on Monty last year, and Johnny and Chucky especially, and Lucic was getting props for being a little bit better than previously. But I think one player that really, really needs to also step up this year is Rasmus Andersson. I think he's got a lot of stepping up to do, especially when he got that big money contract, which a lot of people are questioning now. I'm still not convinced on him either. I want him to succeed. Of course, like Chris says, I want anybody in the red and yellow to succeed, but he's got a lot of stepping up to do.
Yeah, I think he will. I mean, I'm not gonna hold my breath on it, but I do think that he's going to. He's got to, right?
Yeah.
The other thing is like, I know that he signed, what was it, 2 years ago?
Yeah.
But man, seeing what some of the contracts nowadays for defensemen are, like who was it that signed for 9? Like McAvoy signed for 9.5. Like, don't get me wrong, Charlie McAvoy is exciting and he's good, but he's not. What the fuck are you doing signing him for 9.5?
Well, it could be worse. You could be a Sharks.
You don't think McAvoy's worth 9.5?
No, I think McAvoy's worth like 7.5.
I think Elliot Friedman's kind of said it best. If you take the top 10 defensemen making 9 or more, where do you place McAvoy out of all of them? First or second?
Yep.
Every time.
For me anyway.
Him and Makar can trade off first and second.
You think so?
100%. He is 10 times the player's nurse.
When you got Brent Burns and Erik Karlsson getting 11, I think they're both on. Yeah, you know what I mean.
But honestly,
he's easily number 2, if not number 1, out of the top 10, making 9 or more.
Well, I'll humbly disagree with that, but like you said earlier, we're more than allowed to have different opinions on this.
Absolutely. I mean, what do you guys, where do you guys sit on earnings for? Like, I mean, say Dylan, you always like to kind of kid with all of us, and in fairness, it's in a fun way, but you do have a very analytical brain when it comes to hockey. If you're a GM and you're in charge of your hockey team, and you're kind of looking at where you want to tier everybody with first line, second line, and then when you're looking at the blue lines, what, like, would you kind of have a limit on, say, your blue line, what you're going to offer a certain player? Do you think there's a limit to what a defensive guy should be earning? Or
You mean like almost how we had the geo cap?
sure,
Yeah.
that's exactly what I mean. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I would like that, but that's a very unrealistic thing.
No, I'm not saying that it should be implemented in terms of the rule book. I'm saying for you, if you were GM, would that be just like a kind of an internal thing that you're like, right, I like this guy, but I'm not signing him for this much because I want.
Yeah, I mean, I think we all like to do that.
Yeah.
Like, and I'm not saying that it's going to be a highly, unlikely thing to do as far as the rule book is concerned, but as far as just having talent, like younger players are asking for more money. That's just how it is. They're asking for they're not many of them are doing bridge deals anymore. They're all look at Brady Tkachuk, just signed yesterday, I think, for 8.2.
That's what a great contract. In my opinion, for both.
I think that's a great
team
contract.
and player.
Me too.
Like, it really is.
Yeah.
Like, we all know that Brady was looking for the bridge, like his brother, so he can get that big payday in 2-3 years. But
yeah,
I mean, to do 7 years at that, I love it.
Chris, I'm going to bring you into this. And something you guys said there as well. It's not just in hockey; it's worldwide. I mean, I see it over here in Europe. It's like football. Back in the day in football, okay, like when football or soccer was soccer and it was properly played by men. It's still played by men, but there's a lot of cheating that goes on the pitch and play acting, and we see it in hockey now sometimes as well, and it infuriates all of us. But I think back in the day, it's like hockey. You had that locker room mentality where the kids coming up would always clean the older players' boots. You know what I mean?
Sure.
They would clean up after. It's your initiation, your apprenticeship, and it's like
you see it around the world in all industries, right?
Yeah,
people coming out of college
expect
to be hired as management. It's like,
I know.
You need to put in some time.
Absolutely.
And, work your way up there.
Absolutely.
But I mean, of course, I'm of that age, right? So of course I say that because that's what I did. That's what everybody around. That's what my father did. That's
the same with me. Even over here, I mean, I'm not an old guy, but at the same time, it was what I was bred on. Like some of my favorite football teams.
You look
here.
Damn good for 58, though.
You do.
I mean, you really do.
You do.
Actually, 57. I didn't want to give it away, but
Damn.
Oh, okay.
I mean,
57 and 58.
That's because you dyed the gray out of your beard. I mean, I'm
there's
waiting for it. Amazon
some here.
tomorrow.
There's some here. It's there. You can see it. It's creepy.
Look, even I've got some, but that's from falling on my face.
Well, you know what? Gingers technically want gray. Anything but ginger, right?
No. I like my hair color.
You look good. You look good, Dylan. I'm only kidding.
So,
don't listen to me.
So,
but let's get back here.
You're on fire, Dylan.
Yeah.
Right?
Because he's sober.
So, Ian, what's your biggest negative? I guess we'll start with coming out of training camp and the off season.
Obviously everyone knows my schedule is a little bit behind, so I kind of get to sit back and listen to, and luckily for me, on the Flames Hub, I get to kind of look back on you guys' comments and kind of see what the trending kind of opinion would be. You know what I mean?
Right.
Sometimes it can kind of sway my opinion when I go into a game. I'll admit, if I'm watching something, I can go, oh yeah, they're kind of right there. And then sometimes I'm kind of like, oh no, well, I don't know. I'm not too sure. So for me, one of the things, Dylan, that I also think is the speed thing. I really do believe that I'm 100% in agreement with you. I think the speed thing is going to be a concern for me. Because I don't want to give any positives away because we're going to get to that. But I think another negative for me so far is like, I don't know whether Sutter has convinced me that he has a set I don't know whether he's settled on
Plan.
everything yet right now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That worries me a little bit. I mean, look, we can go and talk about Trey Living and the moves that were made and whatnot and who was available this year. And we talked about it on the previous episode. We can just keep throwing shit at the wall and blame Trey on absolutely everything, but that's not going to really get us anywhere. We're here right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. And for me as well, I mean, yeah, like we got slower, which is a
Yes.
weird thing to do.
We really got slower, you know?
in this day and age where the league is getting quicker.
And it's
So,
really
I
weird
mean-
to do when you trade a 39-year-old defenseman to somehow get slower after that. Or sorry, not
right.
trade.
Yeah.
I'm
Allow them to
kinda-
walk away.
I'm kind of seeing why. I think a lot of power was given to Sutter this year. To work.
That's speculation, by the way.
It's
Like,
speculation. It's speculation.
pretty
Yeah,
sure,
it's
fairly-
obvious speculation.
Obvious
Yeah.
speculation.
Right.
You'll hear some people say it was speculation, but quite clearly when you see the moves that were made, there's some element of truth. And I
Yeah.
think he's brought in, like
Have-
you alluded to earlier, Chris. I mean, when you're bringing in
Is-
people that 10 years
Is
ago,
is Brad in that cubby hole next to you? Because I mean, he's certainly not making moves.
no,
Daryl
Yeah.
Sutter is.
no.
Yeah, I mean, we got slower. We certainly didn't get better by any means.
Zadorov hasn't impressed me one bit
No.
since he's come
He
in.
hasn't impressed me either. I was really
And you were
looking
rooting for
forward
him,
to
Chris.
I
You were
100%
he
was.
has the potential to get better under a Daryl Sutter system. I am the first person to after watching all these preseason games where he got more games than any other defenseman, I'm almost
Yeah.
for sure. I didn't do the math on that, but I'm pretty sure.
No, but you
Um,
know Dylan as well as anybody. That's probably just to try and get him familiar with the culture that he's trying to create and
Yeah,
probably get him
Yeah.
close to the team.
Yeah, Daryl's not one of those guys that likes to rest people that he doesn't
Yeah.
want to play. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
if he thinks you're on the opening day roster, you're playing 95% of the preseason.
Yeah.
Because he wants
But,
you to get to work.
I mean,
right?
if there's anybody who can get a player who might be a little, who's still young and might be a little bit defensively unsound,
Right.
or slow or whatever, to be a little bit better. I mean,
Yeah.
between Daryl Sutter and Chris Tanev, I think we have two of the best shots to get Zadorov
Sure.
to where he was
Yeah.
projected to be as a high draft pick.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah,
Yeah,
I've been
it's still not
pretty
gonna hold my
disappointed in Zadorov. I mean, our whole defensive core hasn't been great,
No.
and I guess I'm trying to be nice. They fucking sucked so far.
Yep.
Too much.
Our bottom six is just horrendous. I don't understand.
That Bobby Ryan idea wasn't such a bad idea after all, was it?
You can fucking go pound.
You know what?
So the
Yeah,
thing
like-
is,
like- like-
Ryan is a way better idea than Trevor Lewis, but
True,
but,
but
that
we have
doesn't make Bobby Ryan a good idea.
$300,000.
No,
Right.
no, but
That's-
all I'm saying
Yeah.
is, in terms of what was available, it's
Yeah.
definitely a better idea than fucking what we.
Yeah,
ended up
I was
doing.
going to stab myself in the leg, but decided to stab myself in the arm. Doesn't make it a good idea. It's just a better option.
Yeah,
But yeah,
but it makes your team a little bit better. It's slightly.
yeah, slightly better, right? Like,
Don't forget, Chris,
You
you're
know-
the guy that said it doesn't matter what players on the team, you're going to support them.
I am.
But,
Well, yeah,
I mean,
except
I support-
except for Corey
I
Perry,
support this.
except for
support-
Corey Perry or Cassian. Fuck both of those
Perry,
guys.
Perry
Just wanna
can
say that.
fuck right off. Perry can fuck right off. I mean,
And Simmons.
I think it's great because now Tampa's gonna start losing drastically. Obviously, they're showing that even on the ice now, but nobody wins cups with Perry. But yeah, this is what I cheer for right here,
Yeah.
not
Exactly.
back here. Always.
Exactly.
So I want ways to make my team better.
Well, in saying
And-
that,
and
Dave,
for
Chris,
for fuck's sake, Brad has not done that in the 6 years he's been attempting to do that.
yeah.
Mhm.
Okay.
I feel like we're actually worse. Well, I don't feel. I think it's pretty obvious. We're worse than we were at the end of 2015 when we the comeback year. And like, I don't want to hear anybody talk about fucking, what was his name? Hartley. And I'm tired of hearing how good of a coach he was. He wasn't a good coach. He hasn't even gotten a job since he can't have been that good. A coach. Players didn't like him, but he did teach how to be fit, and that was his thing.
How
Right?
to never give up, and that's a thing that we've been missing the last couple of years.
Right. Yeah, because we had Golson, who, I mean, you give up in training camp and then you try again next year. Basically, is his philosophy. I'm pretty sure.
Well, his philosophy is I'll try and throw my stick into the rafters, and if that doesn't work, then I'll just disappear for the rest of the year.
That was such a staged hatred. I've never seen anything that's so embarrassing in my life. Oh, are the cameras rolling? Watch this, boys. I'm going to pretend like I'm mad.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Well, I think that's about time, because the reason I'm saying it's about time, because I'm in agreement with you, but I'm not going to get into a Brad Treliving rant, because I think we're going to save that for maybe.
Damn it. I was trying to bait you.
Nah, because I think the problem is I want to bait Brad Treliving, and it's best I say nothing. No, look, we will look at the mid-season, and then we'll judge what's happened. If by some miraculous kind of situation we end up, right up there in the top two or something, then we're all going, okay, these two guys pulled it together and they had a plan, and I don't foresee that. However, let's save our judgment.
I'll be hopeful.
Yeah, of course I'll be hopeful. Absolutely. But
I will absolutely watch every single game and cheer.
Absolutely.
At all times.
So
as I do.
let's
say what we're going to cheer about, because there are some positives coming out of camp, and why don't you?
Yeah, do you want me to go?
Either one of you.
So my positives so far, I love the line of Johnny, Chucky, and Lindholm. I think they work very well together.
Me too.
Right? Like everybody talks about how bad of a year Johnny had last year, right? Which he did. The first, right. But by the end of it, how many games? Was it like 20 games? 15, 20 games, I think they had those three playing together last year.
And who expected Johnny to work
out of all
Daryl?
Right?
Yeah.
That just it blew me away. And at the end of the season, Johnny is literally 7 points away from being a point-a-game player. Dude. And he's taken all this heat this entire offseason about how bad of a year he had.
And same with Kachuk.
Right. Same with Kachuk.
At the end of the season, and he had. Exactly. I'm not going to prorate it to an 82-game season, but it was not like close. It wasn't his best year, but it wasn't bad. It wasn't bad.
Like as far as point production, it wasn't bad. It was his attitude and the change of his game
for the majority of the season. Yeah.
Yeah. Where Johnny it was point production, because Johnny doesn't change the attitude of the game physically, obviously in the corners. He does it with making dazzling plays through center ice and in the offensive zone.
Yeah,
he was missing that playing with Sean, who, as we've learned, was injured in Game 6, but still played the rest of the season.
Beast.
So,
which is like that's detriment to the team, as great as it is to say like he's right. He's a beast and good for him for doing that.
I agree.
If it was the playoffs, sure, but like Game 6, man. Get your shit fixed.
No, I do. Right. But doesn't that also fall on the coaches and the coaching team as well? You know what I mean?
It falls on the entire organization.
Exactly. You know what I mean? We can blame Sean. Look, Sean's a fucking. I mean, that shows that he's not some little bitch that wants to go and moan.
Yeah. Like I'll give him props for wanting to play, but the team should have shut him down.
That's a Trojan attitude that I want on my team. However, I agree with you two boys. This is why this organization is in a clusterfuck at the moment, because you got one person saying too many cooks, in the kitchen, basically.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And not one of them knows how to fucking, to make a sauce.
Well,
It's-
they're
I like how when you say the word cooks, it sounds like cucks, because we do
Cooks.
have too many cucks in the kitchen.
we do
we
have
do.
too many cooks as well. Exactly.
Yeah.
I agree.
Well,
I agree.
I think also ultimately that comes down to ownership, right? It's been widely reported for many years that GM can't do a goddamn thing without getting the approval, right? Like that's what was Elliot? I was reading. Can't remember the article. I was just reading. It wasn't Elliot. Sorry. Yeah, it was that there was a potential trade that we had, but it fell through because Ken King was dragging his feet signing the paperwork.
He's a fucking
He had
idiot.
to he had to think about it.
You mean
We
Zucker?
didn't even think about it.
You mean the Zucker one?
Yeah, it could be the Zucker.
Because I know we were going for Jason Zucker a couple years back when Burke was still in charge, I think. And he was supposed to be our big trade deadline asset. And then I guess GM had a big fucking blow up with ownership because ownership wasn't signing the paperwork in time. And it was like they filed it finally, but it was like 2 minutes later.
Yeah, it was too late. Yeah. Yeah, I think that's
But
the one.
I will say one thing, guys, because people are listening to the show now and they were like, I thought we were into the positives. So let's try and get back to the positives.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay, so talking about Monahan, I'm representing the guy right now
Yeah.
because even though we just said he probably should have gone and got surgery at the beginning of the year last year, all that type of stuff. He there's a couple things here. First of all, he's come out in a few interviews and said how good he feels, and he bearing down on face-offs, his hips feel good, his wrists feel good.
He looked good the other day from the little bit I've seen as well.
He looked good. He got the most Sean Monahan goal I've ever seen in my life, and I've seen roughly 30 of them a year for how many years.
And we thank him for it.
Yeah, and but the one thing is the look on his face when right after he scored that goal. I mean, I've never had that feeling in hockey, but I can tell you when that sigh of relief comes off a person, it's
psychology, right? It's human psychology. We know by looking at
psychology is huge. Yeah,
we know by looking at someone's face how much it means to someone that's been going through a hard time, whether it be media, whether it be fans, whether it be teammates, whether it be just somebody that's doubting you. And like, if you have that drive, and listen, we talked about his Trojan mentality of playing through an injury from fucking game 6 all the way. Like, if you could take that Trojan mentality and put it, to his inner thoughts and kind of come back and obviously get the surgery and the help that he needed in terms of physically
could you imagine how great it would be if he was that tough going into the corners?
Right.
Shit.
Yeah.
So I've heard lots of people really kind of over exaggerating how good it is that he is back and healthy. And don't get me wrong, I think it's great, but I've heard a lot of people say, he's going to get 42 goals. He's going to get 38 goals. He's going to get, 70 points. And I'm like, okay, so he's going to come back from an injury and just be better than he ever was.
So career year, right? I mean, that's
I'm going.
I hope he does
28 to 30, and like I'd be ecstatic if he did that.
I'm going to make a prediction.
And I'd be really happy if he got 24.
I'm going to make a prediction, and I'm going to do you one better because I'm glad you said that, because I have it in my head. 27 plus goals this year. 27 is I think is going to be his bottom line. I don't know why that number is sticking in my head. I might go and put a bet on. I don't know why the number 27 is there, but I feel that we're going to get a money season where we get that amount of goals. And I think if he can, because dude, another positive is that he's got something to prove now, because Lindy is at the taking his top spot. You know what I mean? So if you've got
it's going to be a tough job for him though, right? Because he doesn't make plays. So he's the recipient of some pretty good playmaking. There has been his entire career. So
I
I
agree.
mean, so who are they matching or lining him up with right now? Mangiapane and
Dubé and
Dubé?
Mangiapane, yeah.
Or
Or no,
Coleman.
Coleman.
Or Coleman.
Sorry, Coleman. Yeah, yeah.
And those
So,
guys
I mean,
aren't like known
they-
for their playmaking either, but they are known for digging pucks out and
Yeah.
Especially Coleman.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean?
So-
That's-
Coleman's
so it
also
could-
known for stepping
it
in
could
and
work.
taking.
It could work out, right? I mean, if you got a couple of bulldogs in the corner going to retrieve the puck and getting it out front, then he could very easily get back to 27,
well, he can
28,
like
Or
he can be a
31,
finesse. He can be a
Shovel-
finesse finisher. You know what I mean? He can be.
Mhm.
So I mean,
Yeah, he can be. Yeah, no, I have high hopes for him this season. I'm going to reserve my excitement.
Try and temper the
until I see it.
expectations a little bit.
yes,
This
yes.
is where I say if he gets 23, 24,
Exactly.
I'll be happy.
Well, that's
Didn't he
it. That's
only
why I
play-
said
he played
27
one
rather than
preseason,
40 as
right?
well.
Did he play one preseason or two preseason games? Right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
so let's
Okay.
get him some time on the ice and let's see what he can do.
Well, let's move to
Um,
another player because Dylan was repping 23. I see you repping my boy, Mr.
Right? Chucky.
Chucky. Who people seem to think that Lucic is my favorite player. It's really not. It's actually my favorite is Chucky, to be honest with you. He is this guy. I'm gonna start it off. Yep. I'm gonna start it off. I do believe that Chucky is gonna have and the thing is, it's like Dylan said, I think he's going to have a bounce back season, not just in numbers because his numbers weren't ridiculously low, but I think just in terms of attitude, in terms of, right, I'm going to fight for that fucking contract and show that I need that at the end of the year. You know what I mean?
Well, that's what I think. Both him and Johnny are due, potential. Well, Chucky obviously is getting a raise, because his qualifying.
Yeah. But he wants to show
Johnny's
that he's
fighting
earned
for-
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's right. I mean, he doesn't want to just make 9. He wants to make 10, right?
Yeah.
So he needs to prove that he's worth that, and so does Johnny. Johnny needs to prove that he's worth 7, right?
Yeah.
And because he wants to get paid too, I'm sure. So
Of course.
I expect both of those two to have some pretty damn good numbers this year, which is for the numbers isn't great for the team as far as contracts, but that's okay. We'll figure that out later.
Yeah.
We'll figure that out when we get a new GM at the end of the season. That'll be all good. We'll
Yeah.
figure it out.
Yeah. Oh, I totally agree. As far as Kachuk and Gaudreau and Lindholm and how great they look together, and the fact that in preseason, like there was that moment, I think it was like the first game Kachuk played, he got hit in the corner or something, and he like sat down and was about to complain and then didn't really complain, but then kind of did.
Yeah.
And I think that somebody talked to him about it because I didn't see that again for the rest of the preseason.
No,
I
me
didn't see
neither.
anything like
We
that
talked
in
about it
the
on the last show, actually. We did.
He did it in front of the net. I saw a bad one where it was, I guess, a trip. It was like something that happens 14 times a game.
Yeah.
But he sat there with his arms up as the teams, I can't even remember who we're playing, but they're racing up the ice going into our zone, and he's still sitting on his ass with his arms in the air. It's like, dude, get up and play the game.
That's the one we were talking about, or is that another one?
I think that was another one, because the one you were talking, and I remember that it was a corner play, right, where he was. Yeah. No, this was in front of their net.
Okay, I don't recall that, but I did have to miss a couple periods because of my work schedule. But
Yeah, but he needs to get back to. I mean, you can draw penalties, but you're not going to draw penalties by whining about potential penalties.
Yeah,
The refs hate that shit.
absolutely.
So,
So we've got that. One thing I wanted to say too, like that line, don't get me wrong, it looks fantastic. And I know we kind of touched on this earlier. One thing that I'm pretty positive about is Rasmus Anderson. He's got to step up 100%. He's got to step up. He's not the fastest, but I think he's, throughout preseason, he kind of got better and better as time went on. And then the last couple games, he was actually quite good. And I'd like to see that continue, obviously. But I think that's a positive considering where he was at last year and the fact that we, for a guy who was at that point slated to be in their top pairing and signed a $5 million contract. I don't have the exact number on me, but
I think it's like 4.7. Yeah, I think you're around the right numbers.
But I think he's gonna step up and be that maybe not that number one defenseman, but he's going to be that number one power play quarterback that we need, especially without Giordano. And then we can have other guys, whether it be quicker guys or just more solidly, solid defensive guys. Defense.
I'm glad you said that, Dylan. No, sorry, I just wanted to say I'm glad you said that because I'm sick of listening to certain Calgary Flames podcasts, and I'm going to say plural, that just completely do a 180 as soon as a player has a good game. And I've heard it. They will absolutely slay a player. Oh, they can't skate. Oh, they forgot how to skate. And I'm not looking at anyone in particular, but if anyone's listening, they'll know exactly what I'm talking about. And you guys know what I'm talking about, especially these negative podcasts who just literally want to say nothing good about the team. And that's why we are going to be number one. It's like, why will this negative energy on a certain player? I mean, I'm not the biggest fan of Raz at the moment, but at the same time, everything that Dylan just said there made me go, all right, I can get behind that. Let's hope for this.
I think he's due for a bounce back, right?
Yeah,
he's due for a bounce back.
Let's fucking hope. Let's hope for this instead of like hoping that your own ego is proved right because one of your players fails and in the process your team fails. Like, stop supporting the fucking team then.
I was really bad for that with Bennett. Like, of course I always wanted him to do well. But,
yeah, you're an asshole for that.
I just never saw anything that I didn't see the potential after, his first 10 games.
Right.
But
but I mean, Rasmus is due for a bounce back, obviously, and I think he has the ability to do that. He
definitely has the ability.
A little bit older, right? Than most. Like he seems like he's super young, but he's what, 24, right?
Yeah.
I think him and Hannafin and Shillington are the same age.
They are. Right. I think Hannafin may be a year older. I think Hannafin is 25 now.
Yeah, I think you're right.
But I think Hannafin's another guy that needs to step up this year as well. And but I think he can. This is why I'm saying it in a positive way. I think he can.
I think he stepped up last year.
I was going to say, I mean, him and Hannafin, Tanev, sorry, were the essentially the best 5-on-5 pairing in the league for the majority of the season, and then he went down with injury.
That's the problem. You see, it's the Tanev effect, right? Whoever plays with Tanev plays well.
Exactly. I want to see how he does kind of quarterbacking his own pairing now, right? See if he remembers anything that he learned from his partner. That's why I'm interested. Every freaking player better. Like pay Tanev $15 million. Like he's the guy that's teaching your young defenseman how to play, and he's doing it well.
Make Tanev the head coach next year if all fails.
Right? Yeah, like if he doesn't get offered a coaching position immediately after he retires, there's something wrong.
Yeah.
Like
I agree.
And so, I mean, I also really, really, really hope, and I'm sure Dylan will agree with this, I hope that Stone can work his way into the lineup a lot.
Me too.
Because I really want to see him. Yeah, he's on COVID protocol, so he should be back reasonably quick.
Yeah.
But I want to see him, if not on the top power play, but definitely at least on the second.
Yeah.
Me too.
As that bomb shot. Like
he's the best shot, without a shadow of a doubt.
Yeah, there's nobody on the team that shoots the puck as hard as him.
Rasmus 2 years ago, maybe, had a really good shot. And I'm hoping that's another thing that I'm hoping that Rasmus can do from range, because I think he's got it. One more player that we need to really talk about that I expect to have a big season. The only problem is what his backup is Markstrom. A lot of people, Elliot Friedman, the great Elliot Friedman. We should just do an Elliot Friedman appreciation show one day, and hope that he just send him a Zoom link and hope that he just jumps in.
Did Elliot send you that care package yet?
Yeah, this is where the light is coming from, as you can see.
Sweet, attaboy, Elliot, attaboy.
Yeah, but still waiting, Elliot. I think I was listening to him talk about it, not in depth. Like I say, it was on 32 Thoughts, which is a great podcast for anybody that likes just listen to hockey podcasts, 40 minutes to an hour long, really, really good show. He talked about, he expects Markstrom to have a big bounce back year. Not a bounce back year, like he had good moments. It's more, Friedman was just talking more that he worries about the Flames without him, who's there to kind of cover it, because you want a good goalie that's going to have at least, if it's going to be 20 games or whatever, you want him to have at least a point.
Yeah.
8-9.
Well,
you know what I mean?
So
I mean, let's be honest. There's not a team in the league ever that can be competitive without a good goalie, right?
Yeah,
exactly.
Nobody is scoring enough goals to compensate for bad goaltending.
Yeah.
So I think it was Elliot. It could have been Jeff Merrick. It was. I'm pretty sure it was somebody on 32 Thoughts, but I think it's the same podcast you were talking about. But
possibly.
They said that they expect Markstrom to be in the running for the Vezina this year because of the solid defense that Sutter-based teams are supposed to bring.
Yep.
So
We're
I
very
think
high on it.
Like, don't get me wrong, I'm a fan of Markstrom, but I think it's reaching a little bit to say he's going to have a Vezina caliber season. I think maybe, top 10, sure.
Right.
Well, dude, we're in the positive section.
You know what? If he's in the top 3 of Vezina voting, hallelujah.
Absolutely.
Like that's great.
Cool. Well, look, let's move on to our final part, and we're not going to spend too long on this because obviously we're just going to get our thoughts on the game. Dylan, opening game in probably a little under 24 hours.
28 hours,
28 hours. It's a little over.
26 hours. Let's do it.
Something like that.
Come on, Ian. God damn it.
I'm in Europe, motherfuckers. Fuck you, boys. All right, man.
So
I'm here in Ireland. All right.
Just because it's 1 a.m. where you're at doesn't mean the rest of us have to suffer. Sure.
Fucking Canadians. We built your country for you. Remember that.
Yeah. Well, why do we have to follow the Queen then?
I'm sorry, the Celts couldn't help you out there. We tried, but
exactly.
we tried.
we wish you would have tried harder.
Well, we got to Dylan there. He's definitely Celt. Dylan is definitely Celt.
Maybe a little bit. Far back, a few generations ago.
For sure. You got the beard color, brother.
I do. Yeah, the game. I mean, I've already kind of alluded to what I'm thinking about the game. I'm really excited. There's nothing better than Flames hockey.
Are you nervous in any way?
Usually, I'm nervous as absolute fuck. Like I was saying, watching that Edmonton and Vancouver game.
Yeah.
And also just the general knowledge of having, one of the fastest skaters in the world, if not the fastest skater in the world, on the other side of the ice. Plus, a bunch
second
of
fastest. Second fastest.
Yeah,
with the puck. Johnny's still the fastest with the puck. He hasn't been beat by McDavid yet.
You think so?
It's two All-Stars in a row. Anyways, sorry.
Oh, you mean as far as yeah.
Yeah, with puck control.
Why couldn't Tanev have done what he done like in the game? That would have been better.
Why would you do that in preseason? He's going to do it tomorrow.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I hope so.
He is absolutely going to take his ass out.
Mhm.
I hope
Not
so.
not maliciously,
I
not
don't
take
think
him out
he's
of the
going to go out
leagues
to
or
hurt him
anything
or
like that.
anything.
He's such a
No,
fucking
no.
crybaby, isn't he? McNugget.
Why?
And didn't he throw an elbow yesterday too?
Sure did.
Like straight to a guy's
Was
head.
pretty sure he
Yep.
was fined $5,000 for doing the same thing last year,
Yep.
which makes him a repeat offender.
He's a piece of shit,
And-
man. He's
a
the
piece
kind
of
of
shit.
Doesn't anybody
he's the
else
kind of
get, like,
guy.
a few
He's the
games?
kind of guy that stands behind the big guy and his best friend at the bar, and he's like reaching around his best friend, like hold me back.
Yeah.
Just like that other knucklehead Cassian as well.
Is
I think
Cassian going to be
Cassian's the
there?
big guy is holding.
No, Cassian's face is still in the ice.
Is he?
Sorry.
Is he? I wasn't sure if he's out of
Yeah,
concussion protocol. I mean, I'm sure even if he was out of it, he's pretending that he's still in it, so he doesn't have to fuck around with Chucky.
yeah.
I get
Come see Chucky or Lucic. They'd
Yeah.
love to have you.
Yeah, I'm excited. I do think we can win. I think we have, that first line has some crazy chemistry going on. Monahan has a chip on his shoulder. Mangiapane's, also on a contract year. Dubé wants to, prove himself. You got some young guys and youngish guys on the blue line who want to prove themselves to the next level. So I do a lot of room. I've been super negative about the upcoming season, but there's a lot of room for a lot of guys to grow, and I think they can, and I think a lot of them will. I'm not going to say all of them will. I have a lot of worries about Valimaki, but
Yeah.
as far as this game coming up, I'm really worried, especially after a week off, that
Game speed.
all of our players are just going to get blown by, and it's going to be fucking 4 or 5-0 going into the second period, and we're just going to be, and then that's going to set the tone for the season is what I'm worried about.
Well, I mean, it's not like we have a great history of opening night, right?
No, but
It's
we
been a
also
long
don't
time.
usually have a week off to start. Like, what the fuck?
It's just so bizarre. So bizarre. Like they play eight preseason games in like 11 or 12 days, and then boom, then you got 5 days or a week off. It's like, what are you doing?
I think there's a couple teams who are going to be halfway through the third fucking game of the year by the time we're starting our first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. And then we have to get into the the Edmonton has 8 back-to-backs. Every other team in the league gets 12 plus, but whatever.
Well, why don't
As long
we
as they
get
protect
into,
their little bitch 97.
Yeah.
I think
Well,
Tanev's going to take him out. I think it's going to be a thing of beauty. I think Johnny's going to make Smith look like a dipshit as he is, and Kachuk is going to run him twice
Smith had
by
a hell of a
accident.
game.
By accident, of course. Chuck is going to run him
always.
twice.
He never does it on purpose.
Yeah. It's just he'll get pushed, and you know how it is. I think. Do you think they're actually going to have Shillington as a forward tomorrow?
No.
I think they might to replace it just didn't replace Coleman for the one game.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
And use it as a test.
I mean, it's possible. I'm not sure though.
It's hard to say. I mean, I honestly don't think Valimaki's going to play more than 25 games this year. Unless he's got to do something, right? His preseason didn't look good. Last season didn't look good. So, I mean,
I don't think he's got, personally, don't mean to be negative, but I don't think he's got the chops. I just don't think he's got.
He doesn't, right? He doesn't seem to have that drive, and
No.
and he certainly hasn't impressed Sutter.
He's very young, and he's very he's he's got a lot of talent. He's got a shitload of talent.
He has a ton of talent. Sure, he
But
does.
we could be talking about he's very young in 2 years as well. You know what I mean? That's my fear with Valimaki. Like I'm a fan as well. I like him, but it's just more. I think more what Chris was saying. I think it's just Sutter is such a fucking. You know what I mean? He'll just put you to the back burner and be like.
Well, that's right. Yeah, he's like, if he's not criticizing you, he doesn't care.
But he also
what I mean?
hasn't shown like Valimaki hasn't shown that he shouldn't be thrown to the back.
Exactly.
That's the
100%.
He's been given lots of opportunities.
He really regressed through the season last year, and the season didn't start off well for him. So it's So I hope he does well. I mean, Dylan and I both had our hesitations with Valimaki to begin with, coming back from his leg injury, right? I mean, I still think he's one wrong move from potentially not having a career. But I mean, I'll always hope that he does well. I just, we'll see.
Yeah. Well, watching the highlights from when before the last season started, and he was playing in Europe, and he had that golden helmet on because he was literally, as a defenseman, leading the league in points for like a few weeks there.
Yeah.
And watching those highlights and the absolute stellar plays he was making with no hesitation, no waiting, no second thought, just making crazy passes and great shots, and like in the offensive zone specifically, none of it translated, and it just seems like he's always hesitating.
But dude, you just hit the nail on the head there.
Yeah.
There's no, like, people have this aura when it comes to the NHL or the NFL, or even in football, when it comes to Wimbledon and tennis or whatever it may be in baseball. Yeah. People think that as soon as you step into the big leagues, that there's some sort of like little aura or barrier there that's stopping you from getting there because somebody's holding you back. It's when you're in your own head, that's when you're fucked.
I do think Valimaki's in his own head a little bit.
Exactly. That's the only thing, because I agree with you.
Yeah,
like
for sure he is.
He's still playing in Europe. I know, like this, like the NHL is the elite, and that's absolutely 100% true. But if you've got that natural ability, and what got you there, and what got you to the dance in the first place, if you're not performing the way he was previously, like you said, Dylan, then he's in his own head. But look, let's not spend too much time on it there. We'll kind of wrap up here soon. Before we give our predictions on scoreline,
I was going to say we should do that.
Yeah, it is a Calgary Flames podcast, so it's only right to mention, especially on the Dynamo Podcast Network, a huge congratulations, as we mentioned at the start of the show, to one of Calgary's own superstars outside of hockey, the great Bret the Hitman Hart has a star on the Canadian Walk of Fame.
It's awesome, right?
It's very cool.
First pro wrestler ever to do so. One of the.
You know that he was an Edmonton Oilers fan before he was a Calgary Flames fan?
He was.
Now he's a very, very, very hardcore Flames fan. So
yeah, that's correct.
Sure is.
Has his own box too. But as Chris said in his defense, when he was growing up, there was no Calgary Flames, So it's it's probably when you retire and you kind of see your own surroundings and go, what am I doing supporting that guy for?
Yeah, damn it.
Fuck that guy.
That's right.
But
so congratulations to him. That's really cool. That's great.
That's super awesome. Yeah.
Great.
I think it's great. It's great for Calgary. It's great for you're a huge wrestling fanatic.
Well,
right?
I'm a former. You're never a former pro wrestler. I was a pro wrestler, so it's great for the sport of professional wrestling. It's great for Canadian wrestling as a whole,
for sure.
To have somebody
and
first ever pro.
And being a person that has met him multiple times, he's a customer of mine. He's just a great human being. He's a great guy. Yeah. He always has time for you, right? Every time I'm going to do any work at his place there, he's always got time for you. He doesn't shrug you off. He's just, and hey, how you doing? And just light banter, right? He just likes to play and have fun.
Give you a coffee and all that good stuff.
So I
Yeah,
don't think-
I like the fact that he was recognized, right? I think that's awesome.
I think this might get us less views, but I think to start off next episode, Ian, because I know you've probably got one somewhere hidden away. You should throw on the pink spandex, or the, you know what I mean, the outfit, the Bret Hart outfit.
If you just wear the sunglasses, we'll call it fine. Okay.
Well, you know
We'll
what,
do the
Dylan,
sunglasses.
if you can get that little costume that you like to wear when you're cooking and send it over to me, I'll absolutely wear it for you. I understand.
Shots fired.
I understand that there's only certain kind of imagery that you can see of me in stills, but for you to have the image of me moving in those stills would excite you. I can't guarantee that it's going to excite the rest of the audience, but if you give me 4 weeks till I get back in shape,
I tell you that Dylan, what a sharpshooter he is.
Oh, he's the excellence of execution,
right? Yeah, because Stone Cold said so.
Well, look, let's get into. I'll drink to that. Let's get into predictions, boys. Dylan, we'll start with you.
I just want to. I don't know how you guys want to do it. You want to do like who's going to lead in points and who's going to lead in goals?
Predictions in this game. That's all. Scoreline predictions. That's all we need.
Oh, for tomorrow.
Yeah.
Oh, geez, here we go.
Oh, okay. I thought we were doing like season points leaders.
Oh,
and stuff
no. We won't do that
which
yet.
We should do, but...
Well, do you want to do that? Do you want to do that?
Well, yeah, but let's do your thing first.
Let's do both.
Okay. I think tomorrow. I don't want to sound like a dickhead, but I think it's going to be a 4-2 Oilers game. Honestly.
Asshole. Cancel him.
What a dickhead.
Cancel him. Where's Dave Chappelle?
Okay. This is how tomorrow's going to go. You're absolutely right. We're going to be down 3-0.
We're going to come
the
back.
First. Daryl's going to kick over some garbage cans. It'll be 3-2.
You mean Trey Living is going to be sitting beside him during the game?
He's going to kick him. Yeah,
okay, perfect.
He's going to kick him. It'll be 3-2 after the second.
Yep.
And we're going to win in overtime 4-3. That's it.
That was my prediction. I'm not even going. That was my prediction.
He's going to be shut down. I'm talking about 97 and his little puppy there after the first period.
We're going
to get back into Daryl Sutter defensive hockey as soon as the first intermission happens, and he's going to make damn sure that everybody realizes what's happening, and they will take.
I've got a bet slip.
4-3 Flames.
I've got a bet slip that has 4-3. I literally put a bet the other day, and it's 4-3. Now, I'm not going to predict how the game is going to go. I just think they're going to score, but I think we're going to score one more, and 4-3.
It's either going to be that, or Johnny and Kachuk are going to score in the first 5 minutes of the game.
Guess who's going to score the winner?
Ooh, the winner.
Monty.
I was going to say Monty or Backlund.
Yeah, Monty or Backlund. I'll be happy. Listen, I wouldn't care if it was fucking Sutter himself, as long as it's the winner.
Yeah.
But
as long as it's the winner. Yeah.
To be fair,
I guess I don't have the right to predict a winner, eh? Because I'm not predicting the win.
Wait, are you still here? Shit, no. I thought Ian cut you off already.
I thought I did. I thought I paused him.
4-2. Jesus.
There's a goddamn frog in the room here.
Okay, man.
Well, look, Dylan.
So
I didn't want to cut you off, so why don't we do it real quick before we shut down for the evening? Why don't you go with what your prediction was for the season? Where do you foresee the Flames finishing?
I like as far as points and stuff.
Well, it doesn't have to be points, I suppose. Just positioning would be.
I have us finishing fourth. I don't know if that's going to be good
Fourth
for
in the Pacific or in the
fourth
West?
in the Pacific. Yeah.
Pacific. Okay.
Interesting.
They have Vegas, Edmonton, and Vancouver ahead of us.
And Vancouver, really?
Yeah.
Okay. I actually don't have high praise for Vegas this year. I think they're going to falter big time without Fleury there.
Like the Lightning, I think they're going to falter too.
I think, yeah, the Lightning's going to falter because now they have to be under the cap and they've lost their entire hardworking third line. It's going to be a tough sled for them. But I think Vegas is not going to be leading the league like they've been predicted to do for the past like 4 years or however long it's been.
Yeah.
I honestly think they'll end up in third in the Pacific, just ahead of us at fourth. And then I have I'm gonna say the Oilers, and followed by the Kings. I think the Kings are a dark horse team this year.
They do look pretty interesting, don't they? Because they
I'll tell you
strengthen.
one thing. I was happy yesterday when I woke up that, or this morning, I guess, when I woke up that I picked up Kopitar in my fantasy, our fantasy pool, because got 5 points in his first game. A hat trick into his.
Hedman with 4 assists yesterday, right? Love that.
Is it weird for someone who loves Madison Square Garden so much? And I guess that's probably because of the whole wrestling and boxing history and some of my favorite bands playing it, and just it being the kind of the mecca of arenas. Is it weird that I just love waking up to see the Rangers fail? I don't know what it is. I cannot stand that team.
I don't like any sports team that plays in New York at all.
No, me neither. Like fuck the Knicks, fuck the fuck the Nets.
I like the Islanders.
Fucking Yankees can
fuck the Islanders too. I'm gonna say that.
I like the Islanders.
I want to go down south a little bit more.
I don't. Yeah, I'm indifferent on the Islanders. Like, I don't hate them. I certainly don't hate them. I have no reason to hate them.
No, I don't hate the Islanders either. I agree with
Sabres,
Dylan.
I think we could all throw the Sabres a pity vote.
Yeah.
Fuck them.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Fuck them.
What a shitty fucking place to play.
Yeah. It's like, I look at certain places and I'm like, okay, Florida, I like them. I understand we don't like the Lightning. You guys don't, but that's okay. So the Panthers we can put up with, but just something about the Rangers.
They're putting together a pretty damn good team. Quietly.
They are.
They really are. Like I don't mind the Panthers at all.
It is not very often somebody signs a contract like Barkov did, and I come out and say that is a player that is 100% worth every fucking single penny.
What did he sign for? 10 mil, was it?
I think it was 10. Yeah.
You got Reinhardt as well, which is fucking,
Yeah.
Yeah, I wanted Reinhardt.
They are definitely. They're definitely a team to watch. Barkov, Reinhardt. God damn it! There's a couple of players in that team that are.
And Huberdeau.
Yeah.
Got lost.
Yeah.
So where do you have the Flames there, Ian? Or did I miss that?
No, I didn't say it yet. I'm gonna be the one to kind of send everybody off cheerful and happy.
Good.
Yeah. I foresee
9th in the West, right?
I think eighth. No. Are you asking me overall or Pacific or just overall?
Pacific.
Let's go Pacific
and third. I think we can get third.
Yeah. I feel like we can too.
And I think, and the reason I say that is I think we are going to be a little bit stop-start throughout the season. I think purely the reason I have us winning this game tomorrow is purely it's who we're playing, right? You know what I mean? I think it's going to be more of a passion statement, more so than anything else.
I think be in Edmonton.
Yeah, we'll be in Edmonton, if anybody can drive home the Battle of Alberta, it's definitely Daryl Sutter.
That's
Yeah,
what I'm
and-
thinking. Whereas I do think we're gonna fucking, we're also gonna stutter along the way.
Ew.
See what I did there?
Yeah.
Well,
Well,
I just think we're going to stop and start a little bit, but what I really do foresee is us having a really, really strong finish in classic Flames fashion.
Yeah,
I can see that.
But I think because we got the 82 games this year as well, I just think there's enough time for us to do that. You know what I mean? And
Also with fans
go ahead,
back in
Dylan.
the
Sorry.
building, especially. Yeah.
I think fans in the building is going to be huge. Well, for all teams, right? Everybody, that's
Yeah.
what they thrive.
Well,
for,
yeah.
that
But
getting
for-
the chance.
specifically for number 19.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, I agree.
But
I agree. I think you're right in that we'll be sitting around 11th in the West, and then all of a sudden, instead of going the opposite direction, getting a good draft pick and moving this team forward, we're going to win enough games to make it in the 8th spot, and then play 4 games in postseason.
So you think that 4th in the Pacific is going to be a playoff, a wild card?
well, that's why I'm giving us 3rd.
No.
No, I don't.
No,
I don't
no.
think. I don't think 4th would be enough. 4th would definitely not be enough. That's why I'm giving us
I don't
3rd.
either.
No.
Guys, we all just agreed on something.
Jesus
Yeah.
Christ.
Yeah,
Well, I'm just gonna get that on the calendar.
I know. I think it's.
I'm just going to sign off now. I think we're done.
Yeah.
This has been.
Jeez.
This has been your flaming book.
Yeah. Thanks for following the Flaming Puck.
Stephen King and the boys.
The,
Stephen King and the boys are going to be watching this, going, "That was such a weird end to that show." Like, did we get it? Did we get any kind of? Is that it? Like, is that they all just ride off into the sunset?
just close it up. I can't believe you haven't given a shout out to the Flames Hub yet.
Well, I was waiting on you to do that.
There you go, Mr. King, Master King.
Go fuck yourself. No, I'm
Go
kidding.
fuck yourself is right.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Stephen, you got to come on the show soon, brother, for sure.
Well, you enjoyed the one time he came on.
Yeah, it was
fun.
very entertaining. It was very entertaining. No, 100%. Absolutely, the Flames Hub. You'll probably notice if you arrive in and you say that the Flames have only been in the league 20 years, and especially if you do it kind of at my time in Europe, and you don't answer any other questions, and I look at your profile, and you just look like a fucking weirdo, you're not getting in. It's simple. So yeah,
I can't believe it took you 4 times to get in the group.
Me.
Hey-o. Yeah.
I was
Yeah,
in.
you started with 12 years, didn't you?
Dude, it was like I was like the Illuminati. I was seeked. People sought me.
Ooh. Oh my. Oh my. Oh my.
Dylan came looking for me. He was.
Yeah, I don't blame him.
Dylan was like, "I like that Irish guy. He's good. Get him."
Right?
And I'm forever grateful for it. Dylan is my
He's
grandmaster.
right, I guess.
I will do.
I could talk to him for an hour or 2 a week.
That's okay. That's okay.
I think that's more than you give Veer.
Yeah.
Yeah, true. That's true. The unfortunate thing is Dylan gets to talk to me for a week. I gotta look at Dylan for an hour or 2 a week, and that's hard.
And then while you're editing, like I can imagine how hard that is.
Watching me play with my beard all day long.
You guys are just a bunch of weirdos.
Well, that's what we are, and I think that's about time that we wrap up. We should have wrapped up the last time when we agreed on something.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. This is like just been one giant run-on sentence. Great news.
Absolutely. And there was no mention of a certain number today as well. We're going to keep it that
17?
way. Oh, man, you did it. I didn't do it. I wasn't going to do it.
I'll do it. I don't care. You out of water?
Here's to you. Here's to me. Best of friends will ever be. If you ever disagree, fuck you, and here's to me.
Go.
And on that note,
Flames are starting, baby. We're back.
we are back. And also, the Flaming Puck is back too. This is a weekly gig again, baby boys and baby girls. We're not going anywhere. Thank you for tuning in once again. If you disagree with any of our picks or any of our negatives or any of our positives, please mention it in the comments. Tell us why. And you know what? This is going to be a fun season because we've got an 82 game season again. I am looking.
Yeah.
I'm very much forward to looking, and the guys are too, to bringing guys and girls onto the show. You know, as fans, come on, give your thoughts and opinions, give a different narrative. Tell us why we're wrong. Tell us why we're right. Whatever the hell it is that you agree or disagree with. This is your show. We make this show, you know, from the fans for the fans, as we said from the, you know, from the get-go. So please let us know. And you always do, in fairness, and we do appreciate every little bit of support that we get. And onwards and upwards. And all I will say is hashtag Sea of Red. Go Flames, go. Until next week, I have been your host, Ian Kelly. Dylan, sign out, my brother. Peace.
Peace. Go Flames.
Go Flames, go.